Hello everyone, I'm off. This is my final presentation for Stage 3 project. It's how you think, feel. Basically, we all experience the period of when we feel stressed, anxious, worried, sad, afraid, or even angry. However, when these emotions become more severe enough and it interfere people to function in daily activities, it anyone can experience the mental health problems. Feel challenging to realize that they have a mental health problem. It's estimated that people in England, around 1 in 4 of the population, who will face the mental health problem. People have negative mental health, who they are involved in the system to help those sectors, including individual and domestic unit, public health services as a primary support, voluntary community organizations as a secondary support. Research by Department of Health 2014 point out that sometimes very few people can access the treatment, even though awareness of stigma attached to the whole society has been reducing year by year. Self-stigma in terms of communication is still a barrier. To know more about the context of challenges and experience of the people seeking support for the mental health, I set up the participatory research by online interview with 11 participants, both people and from organizations. All full details of discussion are in the PPJ, so the upcoming story will be briefly explain the key points from the story of Mandy. Mandy, 25, she has been diagnosed with depression. She got the early treatment from the public health services. She felt that it was good to talk about the issues and her problems, but other than that, she wasn't given any constructive help for self-recovery. This is because the public health services focus mainly on the medication and provide such a service with around-the-clock or very limited time. Treatment is time for self-recovery. The main problems during this time is lack of motivation to look after themselves. For Mandy, this is due to her conditions of depression. She knows self-care, it works for her, but she doesn't allow herself to do it. Can help her during self-recovery. Clinical health services. Voluntary organization as a secondary support can play important role to help them during self-management because it's easier to access the service and it has more empathy. People with similar situation and experience in the community might understand her better. So for some people, speaking with people who have similar situation might be helpful for them to promote their motivation for individual recovery. Sometimes they focus mainly on what it is bothering people, what it is not working for them, what it is wrong with their emotion, and how it affects day-to-day activities. A conversation about what they are struggling and how to address them. There is another side of the story. For some people who experience lack of motivation for self-recovery, sometimes focusing on negative causes can make the thing worse because of only looking at the negative side and surrounding by a kind of question of what is wrong rather than what is right. So how things might change. Is it possible to build up motivation for self-recovery by focusing on what is their positivity rather than looking at negative side or causes or how to change the negativity or even change their behavior? This is a key change of promoting them to start doing something at their own core by looking at their positivity. We promote people engagement in the mental health support with focusing on positivity to build up motivation for self-recovery by considering constructive conversation, increased involvement, and accessing to meaningful results. To develop further, I selected some early ideas to combine together and develop into visual framework for early testing. these criteria: implementation, participatory, deliberative, empowering, creative, and inclusive. From the early testing and evaluation with the psychologists, the concept tree of the activity is the most potential solution to develop further. For the users, this activity is based on the extreme users as the persona 1. This persona is people who have mental health condition to start self-recovery like the story of Mandy, and another persona is supporters or facilitators to help those or to facilitate during the activity. Introducing Happiness Observer. This activity and toolkit are designed to use as at the beginning of a self-recovery journey and used as an activity template for support group. The objective of the activity is to focus on the bright side in the mental health support by looking at what resources people have, what people can do rather than putting order to do things. This will enhance people to reflect and explore their aspect of positivity instead of negativity to get motivation and inspiration from themselves and from each other with a more constructive way. The concept structures of this activity is based on the design tool called stakeholder map, integrated with the charm recovery model, starting from the core of identity and empowerment, connectedness, meaning, hope, and trying out. Participants will reflect their positivity starting from the core of identity and empowerment, moving wider to connectedness and then meaning and hope. And the last outer layer is the new things that they want to try out. The conversational cards might be picked up by skilled facilitator to let people to explore the keywords or even open-end questions: who, what, where, and when. After that, participants can use the symbol models to represent their answers creatively, or they might be able to draw on models or write something down on the post-it note. Participants can connect the story and share their story to their peers or in the support group. They can see and reflect the connection of each positive element, so the story they share will be powerful and meaningful. There are alternative graphic options for the template, such as the small world or universe. Back at the positive aspect, so they can use the idea from the activity to reflect into their positive personal journal book or online journal platform. For example, they can upload pictures, photos, video, or any music related to 5 key areas. From the testing with both organizations providing support for the mental health and psychologists, they gave me critical feedbacks. They thought that the good things of this activity is that it is very simple and everyone can use it, but particularly it will be suitable for a certain level of recovery. Another thing is the symbol models that can enhance people to engage with the activity, and conversational cards can break down the topic and is manageable. However, for suggestions, they have a concern on the type of the question and methods that participants will use for giving their answers. They suggest that drawing or using symbol models might be helpful because for some people, they might feel reluctant to write anything down. In addition, there should be a discussion to help people think about the story because sometimes there is no first idea come to mind. For this reason, facilitators should be required to take care and guide members. In conclusion, the pinnacle value they gain are inspiration, motivation, and positive drive to look after themselves. This activity is only a small step by bringing people together in support group to share positive story. So I think that the solution might be helpful for both people like Mandy and also general people who might be able to use these two as well for an inclusive approach. But this project still need more development in the next step. So that's all. Thank you so much.